Well, thanks for asking. It has been a very intense first 7 months of my administration, and some of these things nobody could have anticipated. But I'm really proud of how we've responded as a city and how my team within city government has responded. So all of these issues are still ongoing, and we're working on them, but I'm really proud of how things have gone so far. I think our IS team has handled it really well. We never had to stop doing business as a city, and we always had our public safety operations up and running. So things are now running really smoothly, even more so, and we're prepared to make sure those sorts of things don't happen again.
And on to public safety. So body cameras, they're coming.
Yep, I signed the contract last week.
I know they were delayed a bit by the pandemic.
Yes, everything's been slowed down somewhat due to the pandemic, but we're moving forward with body cameras. Council's supported it all along. It was one of the first actions I took as mayor is to move forward with that, and they should start being on officers in the field in early fall. Yeah, well, one thing I've learned is that we have a really strong police department that is really keeping up with all of the best practices. When we already have made some modifications, when the 8 Can't Wait movement suggested some best practices, I looked at that with Chief Thomas, and we were already doing almost all of them. Some of them were not in writing, so we added those in writing. For example, the duty to report. And also we did make some substantive changes, as for example, banning anything to do with someone in their neck and chokehold. So that's already been changed, but the conversation continues because we want to make sure that our police are always doing the best thing, that we have the policies right, and that we implement the policies effectively too. So we're having ongoing conversations with the community and with council and with our police department. So I think wearing the masks, I'm really pleased that the Board of Health adopted a mask mandate. That's working. And I think people are getting the message out that this is what we need to do for public health is wear masks, stay distant, wash our hands, stay home when you're sick, and sanitize surfaces. And I am encouraged, but I also think now is the time to redouble our efforts as schools reopen, as UT students are back and in the classroom. We need to just stay the course. Well, as mayor of the city, I represent the interest of everybody in Knoxville. And so it's my job to advocate for what's best for our public health, what's best for our education, what's best for our families, even if I don't have direct oversight over the health department and that sort of thing. So I am pleased to be working with the Board of Health and with Dr. Buchanan and her team. We support them in every way we can. And I'm pleased that they're following the science and trying to take the politics out of this and making sure that we just do what's right for our community.
The mayor also saying she's pleased to see mask wearing more normalized throughout Knoxville.
Everybody has realized that it works and that if we want to keep the economy open, if we want to have sports, if we want to keep UT up and running, that wearing a mask is really not that big a deal. It's not something anybody enjoys doing, but compared to the alternatives, it seems like a small step to take. So when I go out and about Knoxville, I see more people adopting masks everywhere I go, in businesses and in restaurants, even outside when they can't be socially distant. So I think it's becoming normalized. UT's been a great partner, having Coach Fulmer and the student athletes and other students wearing masks in part of a public campaign. It's good to see everybody doing it, not just elected officials. So I am pleased that I helped start the trend of normalizing it, and I think now it's a community-wide expectation. Well, I'm really pleased that the Board of Health is led by scientists and public health professionals, and they believe, and I agree with them, that closed spaces that have crowded, that are crowded, and sometimes, alcohol impairs people's judgment. So they've decided that closing things down at 10 o'clock is going to keep us safer, and I certainly support that. And I'm really glad that I took it. I wrote a letter on behalf of the people of Knoxville to ask them to do that, because especially with UT students coming back, we have 30,000 additional people out and about in our city, and I want to make sure they are safe, and if UT goes well and if Knox County schools can open safely, that's good for our whole community. Well, a lot of people have lost incomes. They've lost jobs, or sometimes their hours have gone down. So there's been more concerns about evictions, about people being able to make their mortgage payments. And so we are also working with our community partners and using some federal CARES Act money to help people not get evicted, and to help people stay in their homes, and to help people pay their KUB bills. So the pandemic has revealed some of the hardships and inequalities in our community, and we're doing our best to address those needs in the short term, and also advocating for long-term changes at the state and federal level. I think a good first step would be to expand Medicaid and make that available to everybody, because one of the reasons people are having a hardship is health care issues, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if we could address some of these issues, invest more in early childhood education and education in general, so people can earn more money. If you can earn more money, then you can afford more housing. Yes, it has helped. It's helped people stay in their homes. People who are getting eviction notices now have an opportunity to apply for and get help from this fund to avoid getting kicked out of their homes, avoid having to become homeless. So we have some additional funds coming through the federal government that we're going to also apply in the same exact way to help people bridge that gap until they can maybe get new jobs, or trained to try a new career, or just adjust to the hardships that COVID has placed upon us. So yeah, it's working, but the needs are significant and growing.
Kincannon acknowledging the city will take a hit now that we know Neyland Stadium will not be at capacity this fall.
Yeah, when 100,000 people come to Knoxville to come to UT football games, it's a huge positive benefit for our economy. There's no doubt about it. But all the economists and public health experts say the number one way to help our economy recover from the pandemic is to address the pandemic and get the virus under control, and then our economy can be stronger. So it's really, really important that we deal with the pandemic as a top priority, and then, deal with the economic consequences. But the quicker we control the virus isn't going to control itself. So the more we can do to control the virus, the better for our economy, even if it's some short-term pain. But I am a UT football fan. I'm a season ticket holder and have been for almost 20 years. And like the rest of the community, I hope that we can move forward on that front in a safe way.
Speaking of sports, the mayor remaining open to Randy Boyd's idea of bringing baseball back downtown.
I love the idea. I would need to understand the public benefits before we have any public investment. So we need to study that. I know it's a really popular in concept with many people, but I also know that it's my duty as mayor of Knoxville to be fiscally responsible and to make sure that we're doing something that's an investment that's going to have benefits to the community. And we invest in all kinds of things that, parks and greenways and other things that, the return on investment is good health and quality of life, and making Knoxville a great place to live. So I am very open to the idea. I appreciate Randy Boyd's work on this, and look forward to discussing it in greater detail.
Before we wrapped up, I asked the mayor to weigh in on the Democratic National Convention and the party's ticket in November.
I'm all in for Biden-Harris. I'm super excited. It's been a very uplifting week. I think that a lot of people are ready for their leadership, and we the people is an ongoing process, and how we have a more perfect union. And I think they're the right leaders for the next 4 years.